mainly on racial microaggression. Okay? Now, the key thing about this is three types of microaggression. The micro-assault, which is conscious. The micro-insult and the micro-invalidation are both unconscious. Let's talk about the unconscious one, the micro-assault. Usually with these micro-assaults, the person lets you know exactly what they think. Right? Now, the thing is this. When I first arrived at Fresno, like I said, we didn't have a car, so I'm catching the bus. That 9 bus. Have y'all heard of that bus? Y'all got the worst transportation system I ever seen in my life. But I ain't gonna say nothing about it. I ain't gonna talk too bad about Fresno. It's horrible. I'm catching the 9 bus and we riding down the I'm riding down the 9, I'm sitting back there, got my nice suit on. Not this one, but it was similar to this one. And I'm sitting back there in the back, just sitting there, and then all of a sudden this guy gets on the bus and he has a swastika paint go right on the forehead. Right? And he walks. And he got all these piercing on, and he walks into the back, and he stops. He looks right there at me. Right? Just staring at me. I told him, quiet. I don't want the dean or anybody else to know. But I told y'all I'm from Chicago, right? You ain't gonna punk me. So I look back at him. Right? He looking at me. I'm looking at him. We both looking at each other. Then what are you doing here? What do you mean, what am I doing here? I'm riding the bus. Right? What? No, I'm serious, people. I'm riding the bus. It don't take science to realize I'm on the bus, riding the bus. I paid $1.25 just like you. Right? What are you doing here? So anyway, we ride the bus together. Then he says, excuse my language, I ain't gonna say a word. Y'all got scared, didn't you? You weren't worried about it?
No, I didn't want you to say it.
Oh, I didn't want to say it either. So he said, I'm like, whoa. Man, about to make me lose my job. Where to get paid? Right? Because I can just see it in the Fresno Beat. New professor beat down the white supremacists on the number 9. You know what I'm saying? I can just see it. So anyway, I tell him, you see one, slap one. Well, we get off the bus. I'm like, okay, everybody looking at me, looking at him. Oh. So he pulled the buzzer, and I guess because we went a couple of blocks down, I guess he forgot. So he gets moved the buzzer, he stands up, and he's standing there, and I get up, I'm standing up, I have my bag, right behind him. Knowing good and well, Fresno State a little bit further down the road. So I'm standing right behind him, right? And he like, what are you doing? You said, out the bus, here we go. He opens the door, man, I'm gonna fight you. So he gets off the bus. And they're like, man, whoa, I'm going to lose my job. Right? So I go back, sit down. But because he called me that, I had no doubt in my mind what his intentions were, right? Unfortunately, mentally, as far as mental health is concerned, those are probably the best ones. Micro-insults are unconscious. And the reason that these are more dangerous mentally than the micro-assaults is because you're walking around wondering, did I just hear what I thought I heard? Did I just see what I thought I saw? And then people walking up to you and you're like, I just done this. You explain it to them, they say, don't be so sensitive. Right? So you start wondering, am I being overreactive? Am I being too sensitive? Right? But usually with these they're behavioral or verbal remarks or comments that convey rudeness, insensitivity, and demean a person's racial heritage, right? I was teaching class like 2 weeks ago. Multicultural and social justice and counseling. Kind of ironic what I'm about to tell you. Because I'm trying to teach counselors in training how to be multicultural and social justice oriented, right? So I asked a question to a student, young lady, and you know what she says? I can't understand your accent. You speak too black. What's your name again? You do know I'm your professor. What's your name again? So you know what I said? Well, I ain't gonna stop. Right? So the thing about it is, it's putting a pathology on a whole vernacular, like it's inferior. Micro-invalidations. Micro-invalidations are when you try to make a person feel like they're an alien in their own land. So when you walk up to a brother or sister that's Latino, appearing a Latino, or appearing to be Asian, right? And you walk up to them, and you're like, hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing? Where you from? No. Where you really from? Oh, man. Wow. So how do you figure you speak English so well? Believe it or not, that happened to me while I was working on my doctorate. I was standing outside the hallway in Northern Illinois. I'm not going to talk about Fresno. I'm standing outside of Northern Illinois, just waiting on my professor to come out because I hope he needs the proof. And one of the other professors getting ready to retire, she comes out and she said, Believe Raheem, that's so exciting. I'm like, oh, I like it too. Right? And she said, where are you from? From Chicago. No. Where are you really from? Chicago. She's like, no, where are you really from? Oh, she said that first. No, we from this small island right off of Lake Michigan called Chicago, Illinois. Right? When these accumulate over time, one of the things that happen is racial battle fatigue. Because you constantly feel like your race is an issue. So everything that happened to you is because of your race. So you feel that you are constantly at war because of your racial battle fatigue. So it's like every time you come out of the house, you preparing yourself what's coming next. And this wears on you. So much so, it causes frustration, anger, exhaustion. You physically avoiding, psychological withdrawal. All these symptoms just wears on you because it's on a constant basis, right? A lot of the students here at Fresno State, a lot of your colleagues might be going through this at this very moment. Because it's just all the time, you know, it's like you go up to a person, it's like, sister, I heard the way you wear your hair. Where do you go get your hair done? Really? Can I touch it? Oh. I'm gonna let you know right in the front. I intentionally came to her instead of that sister or those two sisters in the back because it's a little secret. You never ask a black woman to touch their hair. Just let you know, don't do it. Right? But
I didn't know that.
But these type of things like racial battle fatigue would just constantly hopping on you, right? Another issue that a lot of your students might be going through is a phenomenon called stereotype threat, right? And what stereotype threat is this: when you internalize the belief system about your ethnicity or your racial group, and a lot of times you do not perform well because you get the imposter syndrome. You start wondering, do I really belong here? So you do not do well on tests. You do not do well in school because you internalize that this is how your racial group is going to look at it. You internalize that, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So it just wears on you, and you do not perform at your maximum level because it's like it's working against you because psychologically you're feeling, I can't perform. So if you have an African-American student or a Latino student in a STEM program, psychologically they're being told you can't perform in STEM type of subject, so they'll internalize this and it'll manifest itself in a stereotype threat type thing. So if you have any students come to you and you're like, look at your high school grades, looking at your test scores, you should be doing well. What's going on in this math class? A lot of times it's stereotype threat. Because they internalize that they're not going to be able to do well. Now, I'm sorry, I went over. But, real quick, I train counselors. So real quickly, I'm going to just tell you real quickly, we'll do this real fast, on how to help the students. I'm running out of time? I'm just saying, because, I used to watch a live at the Apollo when the person came in. But the first thing you do is stage one, and probably the most important thing, is to establish a rapport. And when you want to establish a rapport, the best thing I like to teach my students is what I call the invitation for repair. And what the invitation for repair is this. A lot of the students of color, because of their culture, are taught not to question authority, not to challenge authority. So if you tell them something and they don't necessarily agree with it, they're just going to shake their head, yeah, and then not come back. But the invitation for repair is this. You trying to help them help you. Right? Well, we're trying to help you help them. Anyway. And what basically the invitation for repair is this. I'll read that.
I can take it.
You sure?
You bet.
Okay. There you go.
Don't tell you, I can do it.
All right. What's your name?
My name's Ellen.
Ellen, how you doing? Okay.
I do it fine.
The thing is you would say, look, Ellen, now you in my office, the next 40 minutes is all about you. Okay? So you can tell there are physical differences between us. You're a female, I'm a male. You what appears to be white. I'm African American. And so while you might be telling me things, I might not be able to fully understand because of our cultural difference. So what I want you to do is if you ever get the feeling, just a feeling, that I'm not understanding where you're coming from, I want you to stop me and correct me. Okay? That's the invitation for repair. So what you're trying to do is let that student or your client know that it's about them and you want to find out what it is about them. Not what you got planned, and you're not going to dominate them. In order to help them, you got to find out where they're coming from. Because the counseling model is this. Unlike psychology, any psychologists in here? Dang, I like to mess with psychology. Unlike psychology, we're not about pathology. We're about growth and development. And in order to help a person grow and develop, you got to find out where they are and help them develop to be the person they need to be. So that's helping you establish rapport. When you heard me say that, what was going on through your mind?
He's trying to be nice. He's trying to let me know that it was okay for me to express my feelings and that anything that I was thinking was acceptable.
Ask open-ended questions to get them to communicate with you. Focusing. Help them focus on their issues. Right? Empathy. Empathy is different from sympathy. The biggest difference between empathy and sympathy, the best way I can explain it is this. Sympathy is you can feel sorry for a person, you want to rescue them. Empathy, you want to be in that person's shoes so you can understand what's going on with them. You don't want to rescue them, you don't want to save them, you just want to understand what they're feeling. Let the client or the mentee tell their story. Everyone has a story. And letting them tell their story, that's going to help them feel more comfortable with you. Recognizing patterns and themes, right? If you can recognize patterns and themes, you start recognizing that every time it seems to be a test, you come late. You come late. What is going on with that? Self-disclosure. If at some time in your history that you might have had trouble in school, sometime your mentee or your student might want to hear that. It might help them look and say, wow, Dr. Rahim was diagnosed with a learning disability, so if he did this, so can I. Right? Immediacy. What's going on in that room at that present time? So if every time you bring up an issue, they cross their arms, let them know. I noticed that you crossed your arms when you said that. Is there something going on with that issue? Don't be scared to challenge them. Right? Because the best friend mentor is usually the worst mentor. Goal setting. Help your mentee, help your client, help your student set goals. Help them learn how to problem solve. Evaluate knowledge of resources, right? I understand that the Campus Advisory Network has a vast amount of resources. Help your student be able to recognize and be able to do some connections. Teaching skills and learning skills. One of the things is this. A lot of students don't really know how to study. Right? They think they do, but they really don't. Thank you.